Today we're going to talk about design books that you need in your life.
Dreadlabs.
What's going on everyone, my name is Tom from Dreadlabs, and in today's video we're going to be talking about design books. This is part 3 of a video series. I have already released 2 parts. You can check them out in the link in the description down below. But for now, let's talk about these couple of new design books that you need in your library. Usually I divide my books in 3 categories. Books that teach me about graphic design, books that inspire me visually, and self-help books that teach me about entrepreneurship or any other mental thing. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the first 2. And if you're interested in self-help books about entrepreneurship or creating, let me know down in the comments because I have a lot more books to share with you on that topic as well. So the first books that we're going to be talking about are these from Masala Noir. So Masala Noir is run by Charles de Royan. He's a French graphic designer, if I understand correctly, and he has Masala Noir as like a side project. Basically, all of these books contain some certain thing with a certain aesthetic, and it's basically just a large collection of whatever that topic is. For example, I have here a book with blank tapes, a book full of ray flyers, QSL radio cards, and video game covers. As you can imagine, all of these books contain a lot of visual inspiration. And the best thing is that they're actually pretty affordable. Most of their books cost between 12 and 20 euros, which is actually pretty affordable if you ask me, compared to a lot of the other graphic design books that I own. I've built my own collection throughout the years, and I think every single year I just get a large purchase done, which builds up my collection. So to give you a list of all of the books that I own from Masala Noir, I own Ray Flyers, which contains Ray Flyers of course, blank tapes, which contains old CD or VHS covers, QSL radio cards, which essentially are kind of like business cards for radio stations back in the day, video games, which contain a lot of covers from vintage video games, acid records, which contain stickers on acid records, machibako, which basically are Japanese matchbook covers, arcade logos, which contains logos from all arcade games, arcade ads, which are basically vintage arcade ads from back in the 80s, punk flyers, which contains punk flyers of course, death metal posters and flyers, and Japanese movie posters. So if you want to build up a visual library without the hassle of using Pinterest or Instagram, this is probably the way. Next up, we have Barcelona Club flyers. So this book I think is a little bit hard to get because I think it hasn't been published since either the late 90s, early zeros. It's pretty thick as you can see, and it contains a lot of flyers from the Barcelona club scene back in the day. I got a second-hand copy off of Amazon, so I'll try to link this down in the description if I can. But this book is probably the best in terms of style and aesthetic on the late 90s and early zeros I've ever seen. The quality of the flyers is just really good. You can really see the printing effects as well. So I think they're scanned in rather than just like pasted in the Photoshop files. And what I've used this book for the most is essentially studying the textures and the ink bleeds and the print effects on them. The designs themselves are also really awesome, and I've used them a lot as visual inspiration as well. But this one also really helped me to master certain ink bleed and texture effects. So this book is pretty rare. I think I found out about it through Cody Vandel. If you don't know him, check out his channel down below. I'll put a link in the description. And then finally we have Graffiti School. So if you are a beginner designer and you want to get into typography, it can be a little bit difficult. Either getting a complete course on it can be really expensive, and a lot of these courses and books and other like learning stuff basically contains a lot of classical typography. And while that's a really important foundation, if you're a complete beginner, it can be maybe a little bit hard to follow or maybe even a little bit boring. Graffiti School might be a great first step to you, because Graffiti School contains a lot of history on graffiti, but also a lot of different styles, which is maybe a little bit more interesting if you're just starting out, especially if you want to design in like the style that I've been designing in for the past couple of years. And it contains throw up and actual pieces in a lot of different styles, but it also teaches you the fundamentals of how letters work and how you should actually draw them. So a lot of techniques are actually covered, and it contains a ton of exercises as well. And since this book is also really affordable, this might be a good first step into getting into typography. And then when you finish this book, you might be a little bit more up to speed or a little bit more motivated to get into the more advanced typography courses out there. So there you have it guys, more books for you to explore as graphic designers. Depending on whether I can find a link to Barcelona Ray Flyers, I will put links in the description down below if you want to get these books for yourself. The Amazon links are affiliate links, which means that I get a small commission if you buy it through that link. It won't cost you anything extra, it's just the same price as normal, but by getting it through that link, you actually support my channel. If you're interested in more graphic design content, consider subscribing to my channel since I have over 400 videos on graphic design. It would also mean a lot to me if you can leave a like on this video and comment your own suggestions down below, since commenting on this video will actually boost this video in the algorithm, which also helps my channel out a lot and it doesn't cost you anything other than a little bit of your time. So with all of that being said, this is Tom from Dreadlabs tuning out. Thank you so much for watching and I'll hopefully see you guys in the next video.